The world is full of noise, voices demanding your attention, people pulling your energy in every direction, and moments that test your patience in ways you never expected. Sometimes it feels like you're fighting a silent battle inside yourself, just to stay calm, just to stay centered, just to stay you. You meet people who drain you with their bitterness, people who twist your words, people who carry storms inside them and try to make you stand in the rain. But Stoicism teaches something quietly powerful. You have power over your mind, not outside events. What if protecting your peace wasn't about controlling others, but learning the ancient art of controlling what they trigger inside you? In 2025, the world feels louder than ever. People carry stress like a second skin. Every day, you move through a world overflowing with pressure, notifications that never stop, workplaces that demand more than they give, relationships that feel fragile, and a society where everyone is exhausted but pretending to be fine. You see people rushing through life, yet emotionally stuck in the same place. The environment has changed, but human hearts still break the same way. And then there are the toxic people, the ones who turn every conversation into conflict, every disagreement into a battlefield, every moment of peace into an opportunity for chaos. Maybe it's someone in your family who drains you. Maybe it's a coworker who always criticizes. Maybe it's a friend who only calls when they need something. Or maybe it's someone who once mattered to you. In the digital age, toxicity spreads even faster. Passive-aggressive messages, silent treatments, emotional manipulation behind glowing screens. People feel anxious. People feel unsafe. People feel unheard. And in this modern chaos, Stoicism becomes more than philosophy. It becomes a shield, a way to stay grounded when someone else is losing control, a way to remain peaceful without surrendering your strength, a way to protect your inner world, even when the outer world demands a reaction from you. When the ancient Stoics spoke about difficult people, they weren't talking about social media trolls or jealous coworkers. They lived in a world of emperors, betrayals, slavery, political manipulation, and constant danger. Yet somehow, they managed to cultivate unshakable calm. Marcus Aurelius dealt with leaders who lied to him. Seneca faced people who envied him. Epictetus lived under masters who tried to break his spirit. Zeno survived shipwreck and financial ruin. Musonius Rufus endured exile and public humiliation. And still, they did not allow toxic people to control their emotional world. Why? Because Stoicism teaches a simple but life-changing rule. Do not let someone else's behavior decide your inner state. Think of it like carrying a glass of clear water. If someone bumps into you, what spills out is whatever you filled it with. If your mind is full of anger, anger spills. If your mind is full of calm, calm spills. Toxic people don't create your emotions. They reveal what you have allowed to live inside you. Epictetus expressed it with perfect clarity. If someone can upset you, realize that your mind is cooperating with them. In modern words, they may trigger the spark, but you control whether it becomes a fire. The Stoics believed toxic individuals fall into two categories. People driven by ignorance, they act out of fear, insecurity, or confusion. People driven by impulse, they speak or react before thinking. Both groups lack something essential: inner control. Stoicism doesn't ask you to tolerate harmful behavior. It asks you to understand where it comes from, so you can detach emotionally. Because when you understand someone, you stop absorbing their chaos. Aurelius would remind himself each morning, "Today I will meet people who are selfish, irrational, jealous, and rude. But they cannot harm me unless I let them inside my mind." This isn't passiveness. It's strategic calm. It's the discipline of choosing clarity over reaction, wisdom over anger, boundaries over emotional surrender. Stoicism is not about being cold. It's about being in control. And when you apply these teachings, toxic people lose their power over you, not because they changed, but because you did. Let me tell you a story about a man named Elias. Elias was the kind of person everyone trusted, calm, thoughtful, always willing to help. But life placed him beside a storm he didn't see coming, a coworker named Darren. Darren was sharp, ambitious, and deeply insecure. He made small comments that cut like paper. He twisted harmless situations into accusations. He criticized others to feel superior. And Elias, quiet, gentle Elias, became his favorite target. It started small. A sarcastic tone here. An unnecessary remark there. But over time, Darren's presence felt heavier, like carrying a bag of stones everywhere he went. One morning after a team meeting where Darren publicly humiliated him, Elias walked out of the room with shaking hands. His chest felt tight. His mind kept replaying the words, the tone, the humiliation. He sat down, overwhelmed. His mind raced. Why does he hate me? What did I do wrong? Why can't I stand up for myself? That's when he remembered a quote his grandfather once told him from Marcus Aurelius. You are disturbed not by the things that happen, but by your opinion of them. He repeated it slowly, almost as if testing whether it still held meaning. At lunch, something shifted. Instead of avoiding Darren, Elias observed him carefully, his expressions, his tone, the tension in his shoulders. Darren wasn't confident, he was fragile. Every insult was a shield. Every attack was a way to hide his own fear of being overlooked, unseen, irrelevant. For the first time, Elias felt not anger, but clarity. The next time Darren made a cutting remark, Elias didn't shrink. He simply said, calmly and evenly, I don't accept that tone. If you have feedback, speak to me with respect. No anger. No tremble. Just calm strength. Darren froze. He wasn't expecting stability. He wasn't expecting composure. Toxic people feed on reaction. But Elias gave him silence. The one thing he couldn't manipulate. Over the next weeks, Elias set quiet boundaries. He ended conversations early. He refused emotional bait. He kept his tone neutral and his presence firm. And something remarkable happened. Darren's storms no longer reached him. The thunder was still there. But Elias stood under a roof built from Stoic wisdom. The turning point wasn't when Darren changed. It was when Elias realized this simple truth. Peace is not found by avoiding toxic people. Peace is found by refusing to let them control your inner world. And from that day on, Elias walked with a different kind of strength. The quiet, unshakable strength of someone who finally learned how to protect his mind. Now let's turn this philosophy into something you can actually use in your life. Today, right now. Stoicism is not meant to stay in books. It is meant to live inside you as a shield, a guide, a quiet force that protects your peace. Here are 5 Stoic rules for dealing with toxic people in the modern world. 1. The circle of control rule. You cannot control how someone speaks, reacts, lies, manipulates, or behaves. You can control your tone, your boundaries, and your decisions. Real-world example. Someone tries to provoke you with sarcasm. Instead of defending yourself emotionally, you respond with a calm, neutral tone. I'm not willing to discuss this in that tone. By doing so, you shift power back to yourself. 2. The pause before emotion rule. A Stoic never reacts instantly. They pause, breathe, observe the moment. This 1 3-second silence creates space between their action and your reaction. Example. A toxic person sends you a rude message. Instead of replying immediately, you step back, reread it, and ask, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. 3. The separation of fact and story rule. Toxic behavior hurts most when we add a story to it. The fact is, someone spoke harshly. The story is, they hate me, I'm not good enough, I did something wrong. Stoicism teaches you to separate the two. The fact is neutral. Your story gives it pain. Example: someone criticizes your work. Instead of thinking, I'm a failure, you say, this is one opinion, not my identity. 4. The self-respect boundary rule. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors only you choose to open. Stoic boundaries look like limiting emotional conversations, ending toxic discussions early, walking away from disrespect, saying no without guilt. Example: a relative constantly insults you. A Stoic response: I won't stay in conversations where I'm not respected. Simple, calm, firm. 5. The negative visualization rule. Imagine the worst version of someone's behavior. Not to fear it, but to prepare for it. When it happens, you're not surprised. You're ready. Example: before meeting a difficult coworker, prepare your mind. They may be rude or dismissive. I choose to stay calm. Now their behavior loses its power. These 5 rules work because they shift control back to where it belongs. Your mind, your reactions, your inner world. Let me ask you something. How many pieces of yourself have you given away to people who never deserved them? You spend your days holding tension in your shoulders, replaying conversations in your mind, and wondering why someone's words cut deeper than they should. But here's the truth you often forget. Your peace is not something fragile that others can break. It is something strong you must learn to guard. Think of your mind like a quiet room with a single door. Only you decide who steps inside. Some people knock gently. Others try to push their way in. But the key is always in your hands. If you've been hurt, it doesn't mean you're weak. If you've struggled to protect your peace, it doesn't mean you're failing. It simply means you're human, learning, growing, strengthening the walls of your inner world. And you're not alone in this journey. Millions of people are silently fighting the same battles. Stoicism isn't here to make you cold. It's here to make you whole again. You deserve a calm mind. You deserve peace. You deserve to reclaim yourself. In the end, protecting your peace is not about building a life without difficult people. That world doesn't exist. Toxic individuals will always appear, at work, in family, online, and sometimes even within our closest relationships. But a Stoic doesn't fear these encounters. A Stoic prepares for them. A Stoic understands that emotional strength comes not from avoiding storms, but from learning how to stay still in the middle of them. Your inner world is your only true home. Guard it with intention. Choose who enters. Choose what remains. Choose what you release. And remember this: every time you refuse to react to someone's chaos, you are rewriting your story. Every time you choose calm over conflict, you are building a stronger version of yourself. Every time you protect your peace, you are practicing the quiet art of Stoicism. The world may stay chaotic, but you don't have to be.